Today I'm going to be taking a look at the XG Plus 750 Platinum power supply. This is the first Cooler Master in-house design power supply, and they've really set the bar high with this one. As well as all the features you'd expect in a high-end power supply, such as an 80 Plus Platinum rating, 100% Japanese capacitors, and a 10-year warranty, the XG Plus Platinum features an LED side panel where you can monitor real-time performance data such as fan speed, temperature and power load. The information on the LED panel and also the lighting on the power supply's 135mm silent ARGB fan can be customised using Cooler Master's Master Plus software. Cooler Master described the power supply's fan as a silent fan, and although it can reach speeds of 1800 revs per minute, at full load it only produces 22.3 decibels. The XG Plus Platinum is also available in 650 and 850 watt options. It should be available for sale later this month. I don't currently have an MSRP, but once I do, I'll put it in the description. Okay, let's go ahead and get it unboxed and take a closer look at it. So as you'd expect, the power supply is fully modular. You can see our large 135mm ARGB fan. And this side of the power supply might not look too interesting at the moment, but once we power it on, you're going to see the LED screen. Taking a look at the included cables, we've got a 24-pin cable. We've got two EPS cables, one has an 8-pin connector and the other has a 4+4-pin connector. We've got two PCIe cables. Each of the cables has two 6+2-pin connectors, giving you a total of 4 8-pin connectors. We've got some SATA and peripheral 4-pin cables, which have a total of 12 SATA connectors and 4 Molex connectors. We've got our USB cable, which is going to make all the magic happen and connect our power supply up to Cooler Master's Master Plus software. And we've also got some cable ties and screws to secure the power supply. The other thing to point out about the cables is they are incredibly thin and flat, which should make cable management so much easier. Okay, that's our power supply connected up to the PC, and you can see by default we've got a rainbow appearance to the fan, and we've got the information lit on the LED screen also showing up in rainbow. So taking a closer look at our LED screen, you can see we've got the power supply name and Cooler Master logo, and then we've got our real-time information here, and it's cycling between 3 different things. So at the moment we have our power consumption, so we're consuming 84 watts with the PC at idle. We can see our fan speed, so 719 revs per minute. And over here we can see the temperature, so 24 degrees. And it's just going to cycle through these. What I'm going to do now is load up the Master Plus software and see what customization options we have. Okay, so by default we're set to Spectrum Wave. So let's have a look at the other effects we have. So we can go for breathing, static, reload, recoil, refill, color cycle, and then custom. So up in custom, it looks like we're going to be able to change the lighting of the individual components. And there's also the option to turn things off, which I don't know why you would do if you buy this sort of power supply. We'll just go for static, and we can also change the color. I'm going to try what white looks like. That would be my favorite for most of my builds. Okay, it looks like we can customize the panel as well. So I can click on auto. We can click on logo, and we're just going to get the Cooler Master logo. The model displays the model and the logo. We can click on temperature, and then over on the real-time data it's just going to give us the temperature, and that shouldn't cycle through it. We can click on fan speed. We're just going to get our fan speed. Power consumption is just going to give us our current power consumption, and all. it then should be back to the default where it's going to cycle through them. And again, we can turn this off. That is leaving on the fan but turning off the LEDs to display. So you've got the options to turn them both off or leave one of them on and turn the other off. So you've got a lot of customization options over here. Over here as well, if I turn this back on to all, we have options for controlling the brightness and also controlling the LED speed as well. What I want to do now is run a quick AIDA64 stability test, and I'm going to see how that affects the real-time information on the power supply. So we can see here our power demand has increased. The fan speed hasn't really gone up yet at the moment, and temperature wise we haven't had any increase just yet. Okay, that's the AIDA64 stability test. Has been running for about 10 minutes now. You can see the power consumption has been very steady in the mid to high 500s. In terms of fan speed, it hasn't budged at all. 660 revs per minute is where the fan has stayed throughout the stability test. And in terms of the temperature of the power supply, again, it hasn't budged, around about 26 degrees. It is important to say, however, I do have this power supply out on an open table, so obviously in a case it might heat up a little bit more. The other important thing to say, at 660 revs per minute, you cannot really hear this power supply at all. The fans in my system beside it have ramped up quite a bit, and I can hear them, but the power supply beside it is virtually inaudible. So I have to say I've been incredibly impressed with Cooler Master's XG Plus Platinum power supply. It certainly adds a bit of fun into the power supply and is going to give you more customizable options for your build, as well as displaying some useful real-time information. What I particularly found useful was the power consumption reading depending on the different tasks I was doing with the system. One thing to be careful about is make sure the case that you're going to use it in, you're going to be able to take full advantage of this. So you're going to be able to want to see the screen on the power supply. So cases that have a cutout are going to be particularly useful. If the power supply is going to be hidden at the back, you're probably not going to be able to get the full advantage of this feature. So I do have a build all lined up for this power supply, so make sure you keep an eye on the channel. That's going to be coming in the next few weeks. So hopefully you find the video useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not currently subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well, and I'll see you in the next video.